In this segment, we're going to be discussing this video from Politics Live where the phenomenal Tory debaters just keep blaming Jeremy Corbyn. He's like, yeah.
Well, should we spend more on defence than we currently do?
Well, the one bit I will agree on Graham with is you can't simply say, would you like to spend more? Because the economy,
well, why not?
Because any aspect of public services and the armed forces included in that, the fact is we have had since 2010 very poor economic growth, appalling productivity, wages.
Someone who wanted Jeremy Corbyn to be Prime Minister just a couple of years ago. What you'd find is Boris Johnson did want a strong UK defence.
Boris wanted lots of things he didn't deliver because that's Boris Johnson. So if you want to go back through the things, the fact is there is...
Okay, let's go through. His arguments are kind of nonsense because, again, you can borrow to invest in the economy, and as the economy grows, you pay that money back. So that's Keynesian economics is basic, something that Starmer and a lot of the Labour front bench seem to have rejected. So his arguments are nonsense. Now we go to the gentleman on the left. He goes, what about, he wanted Jeremy Corbyn in charge. What about Jeremy Corbyn? Well... let's be honest here. Jeremy Corbyn would have borrowed tremendous amounts of money, but he would have invested that into nationalisation and things like that. Those things would have, most likely, have helped the economy as long as they're implemented correctly. And if we look at Boris Johnson, he can say he wanted a strong military. I want six-pack abs, it's not going to happen. You make it happen. You change everything, or you change a lot of things to make that happen. And the fact is the UK's military, based on what I've read, is not doing too great. In terms of the training and things like that, in terms of that side of things, that I think soldiers are really capable. The problem is the equipment they have is not great. And there are lots of procurement issues as always, but to use the argument of he wanted Jeremy Corbyn makes no sense when the Conservative Party have been in charge for the most part since 2010. They had two coalition governments in between, but a lot of the stagnation we've seen in the UK really stems because of them, and he's blaming Jeremy Corbyn makes no sense.
There is no doubt, until the economic performance of the UK improves, you cannot make pledges, whether it's the armed forces or the NHS or any aspect of it, unless you can switch spending to it. But the correct position is not to look at what you can spend and then shoehorn your defence posture into that, is to work out that serious assessment, hard-headed assessment of where those defence needs lie. And as a country, national defence should be and always must be a priority.
I wonder what that would have looked like under Jeremy Corbyn, Johnny, who you were supporting.
I wonder what it's looked like since 2010. I mean, look, you've got to acknowledge and be accountable for your own record in government and simply say, what would have happened over here? That is not an acceptable response to these really...
Proud of what? They're saying it could take 10 years for the UK's military service to be adequate. I think I read somewhere in The Guardian not long ago. What are you proud of? I'd love to ask these Conservative MPs, what are they proud of in their this is going to be their 13th year in charge, right? What are they proud of in terms of achievements? Because from where I'm looking, they haven't achieved anything. If anything, they've made things much, much worse for this country. But, you guys tell me, where are the achievements for the Conservative government, honestly? But for him to argue, what about Jeremy Corbyn, makes no sense. But I'm saddened by Labour kind of buying into this economic doctrine of, you can't borrow and things like that, when it just doesn't make sense. It's not economically sound anyways. But I'm gonna leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, support the channel on Patreon if you can, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.